Consider a world where men and women are treated equally, a world without bias, stereotypes, or discrimination, a diverse, equal, and inclusive world, a world in which diversity is valued and appreciated. We can achieve women's equality by working together. International Women's Day is a worldwide celebration of women's historical, cultural, and political accomplishments. The day is also celebrated in favor of global action against gender inequality. We all know that the world would not function without women. Today is the day to recognize them for their efforts. But data suggests 70% of the 1.3 billion people living in poverty are women. They predominate world's food production by 50 to 80% but own less than 10% of the land. Advancing gender equality in the context of the climate crisis and the disaster risk reduction is one of the greatest global challenges of the 21st century. Women are increasingly being recognized as more vulnerable to climate change impacts than men, as they constitute the majority of the world's poor and are more dependent on the natural resources which climate change threatens the most. The theme for International Women's Day 2022 is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, recognizing the contribution of women and girls around the world who are leading the charge on climate change adaptation, mitigation, and response to build a more sustainable future for all. The theme for the International Women's Day is aligned with the priority theme for the upcoming 66th Commission on the Status of Women, achieving gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls in the context of climate change, environmental and disaster risk reduction policies and programs. The campaign theme for International Women's Day 2022 is Break the Bias. Whether deliberate or unconscious, bias makes it difficult for women to move ahead. Knowing that bias exists isn't enough. Action is needed to level the playing field. Here's a brief history on International Women's Day. It was during 1908 that, due to oppression and inequality of women, a campaign for change where 15,000 women marched through New York City demanding shorter hours, better pays, as well as voting rights. In 1909, the first Women's Day was observed across the United States. Later, it was decided that March 8th can be globally accepted day to celebrate International Women's Day. The day was celebrated for the first time by United Nations in 1975. Do you know the colors of International Women's Day are purple, green, and white? Purple is the color of justice and dignity. Green is the color of hope. White is a contentious concept that denotes purity. This year, International Women's Day will be marked by a high-level virtual event on Tuesday, 8th March 2022 from 10 to 11:30 am EST with UN representatives and gender equality and climate change activists and celebrities. The event will be followed by a high-level panel discussion and musical performances. Whether hosting an event, running a campaign, launching an initiative, reporting on achievement, donating to a female-focused charity, or more, there are many ways groups and individuals can mark International Women's Day. Remember, together we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can all break the bias and celebrate women's achievements. Let's raise awareness against the bias. It's time to take action for equality now. Thank you so much for watching the video. Jai Hind.